At Accreditation Expert Consulting, we see curriculum as more than a set of courses. It is a living framework that has always reflected society's values, technologies, and ambitions. To understand where education is headed, we first need to understand how it has evolved. This roadmap traces that journey from the ancient world to the digital present and into the future now emerging before us. The earliest curricula were born in the great civilizations of Greece, Rome, Persia, India, and China. Philosophy, rhetoric, mathematics, astronomy, and sacred texts not only shaped knowledge, but also influenced moral and civic life. Education prepared leaders, scholars, and citizens through memorization, oral debate, and disciplined study. In every region, knowledge and virtue were inseparable. To be educated was to serve both leadership and community. The medieval world brought permanence and structure to higher learning. Europe's first universities, including Bologna, Paris, and Oxford, taught the trivium, comprising grammar, logic, and rhetoric, and the quadrivium, consisting of arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. The church ensured theology remained central. Meanwhile, the Islamic Golden Age flourished in Baghdad, Isfahan, and Cordoba, advancing mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. In China, the imperial exam system tied Confucian texts to public service. Together, these traditions formed a global intellectual network that defined education for centuries. The Renaissance and Enlightenment transformed education. Classical texts were rediscovered, fueling human-centered learning in literature, history, the arts, and the natural sciences. The scientific revolution introduced physics, astronomy, and biology as forces that could overturn inherited truth. Exploration and trade brought new knowledge from Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, reshaping European scholarship. In Persia, India, and China, advances in medicine, mathematics, and philosophy continued to thrive. Education shifted from preserving wisdom to generating it, laying the foundation for the modern university. The Industrial Revolution turned education into a public necessity. Mass schooling spread across Europe and North America, designed to prepare citizens for civic duty and industrial life. Technical training in engineering, commerce, and teaching rose in importance. Government standardized curricula to strengthen both economies and national identity. In Asia and the Middle East, reformers blended Western systems with cultural traditions. Japan modernized education at an unprecedented speed, while India's colonial curricula reflected both adaptation and resistance. Curriculum had become an engine of modernization. The new century brought progressive ideas. Thinkers like John Dewey argued that education should be practical, active, and tied to real experience. Classrooms became laboratories for problem-solving, experimentation, and civic responsibility. Liberal arts remained important, but vocational training expanded rapidly. Nations rebuilding after World War II restructured their systems, balancing heritage with modernization. The curriculum of this period was both practical and progressive, designed to produce employable graduates and engaged citizens. From the 1960s onward, the curriculum expanded to reflect new social realities. Civil rights and decolonization movements challenged long-standing exclusions. Women's studies, multicultural history, and global perspectives entered the academic mainstream. Technology, from film projectors to early computers, began reshaping classrooms. Yet this was also the era of accountability, with standardized testing increasingly dictating what was taught. Curriculum in this period reflected both the optimism of inclusion and the pressures of evaluation. The digital revolution has redefined access to education. Online platforms, hybrid learning, and MOOCs erase traditional boundaries of time and place. Competency-based education and micro-credentials allow learners to build skills at their own pace. Global economies have placed emphasis on STEM, data literacy, and entrepreneurship. At the same time, equity, accessibility, and diversity have become non-negotiable. Today's curriculum is fast-moving, student-centered, and designed to adapt in real time to social, economic, and technological change. The curriculum of the next decade will look unlike anything before it. Artificial intelligence will personalize learning with precision. Virtual and augmented reality will create immersive classrooms without walls. Interdisciplinary study will dominate, as global challenges demand solutions that cross science, business, health, and the arts. For Generation Z and Generation Alpha, the essential skills will be adaptability, ethics, creativity, and collaboration. Credentials will be modular and global, assembled into lifelong learning portfolios. education will no longer be a stage of life, but a continuous journey. The history of curriculum shows us a simple truth. Education has always been a mirror of society. Each era has reshaped learning to meet its challenges, from ancient philosophy to industrial training, from scientific discovery to AI-driven personalization. At Accreditation Expert Consulting, we honor this history while preparing institutions for what comes next. Curriculum is not just a sequence of courses. It is a living framework evolving with every generation, every technology, and every vision of the future. Call us today at 8332-321400 or email us at info@accreditationexpert.com and see how we can help you achieve your curriculum goals.